Hello everyone. I'm amazed by the growth of this channel, and I thank everyone because I did see some very lovely comments in previous videos, and I just want to say thank you that I haven't forgotten. I hearted some of them. It's going to be hard to keep up with everyone or with any and every comment. Nonetheless, feel free to engage in conversations with one another, as obviously hopefully we are on this journey to learn more and understand the world more and understand the systems that exist, that we just hope and aim to more or less achieve justice, right, and achieve equality, or as they say, equity for all. So I want to read something that stood out to me. As you guys know, there's been a lot going on. Naturally, I feel like there's always a lot going on in the world. Unfortunately, media doesn't cover every part of the world, which is why we should also stay informed, because there seems to always be this like lack of coverage with certain countries, and that also leads us to wonder, why is that? Is it because to them certain countries, people don't matter as much? So that's something to, you know, just keep in the back of your mind, and also ask ourselves, why is that? If everyone matters, if the West is all about humanity, or is it claims to be so great, as we know it isn't whatsoever, and it doesn't uphold the values that it has preached for so long, since its inception, and the West as well, then what does that tell us also about these powers, right? So yeah, let's dive into what I wrote. So I came across a comment the other day that really struck me. Someone claimed that Iran doesn't value human life, suggesting that the West somehow does. Really? Are you sure about that? Because when I look at America's track record since its founding, I don't see evidence of a country that values human life either. Furthermore, if a country didn't care about its people, would its citizens fight to protect one another? I mean, the US military does that very thing. So by that logic, it does not care for human lives. I'm genuinely exhausted by this narrative that the West is inherently good, incapable of wrongdoing, when the land it stands on was violently stolen from Native people, or the Native and Indigenous populations and communities. What followed centuries of oppression against communities of color, furthermore, confirms a deep lack of ethics and a glaring disregard for human life. This same dehumanizing belief system is still applied to communities of color in the US. This idea that communities of color are the problem, the negative stereotypes perpetuated within and about our communities, as many consume the narratives handed down by colonizers that paint marginalized groups as inherently flawed. That mindset is deeply harmful. Any community that has been villainized, made to feel worthless for too long, will eventually react in ways that reflect that conditioning. This is basic psychology. If people are made to feel like they have nothing to lose, they will respond accordingly. I was recently listening to Professor PLO Lamun, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name correct. Please bear with me. Lumumba. And he said something that resonated with me. The West has always crafted the narrative that if they label someone as bad, you must see them that way too. Otherwise, you're wrong or dangerous. And this is something I spoke about in previous videos regarding old Hollywood and how they would target certain celebrities and label them as communists, right? And we even see that today. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The West has always crafted the narrative that if they label someone as bad, you must see them that way too. Otherwise, you're wrong or dangerous. But those who have woken up, who have freed themselves from the mental shackles of colonization and studied history with clear eyes, know the truth. The West has wreaked some of the worst havoc across the globe. Thanks to voices like Godfrey, the comedian, and Professor Lumumba. I hate to butcher names. I'm so sorry if I am. I've learned more about atrocities committed by figures like King Leopold II, whose brutal reign over the Congolese people is rarely, if ever, confronted by Western nations. The truth is, the horrors carried out by Western powers have never been held to the same standard. Why? Because confronting that truth doesn't fit the narrative the West has sold us for generations, a narrative that conveniently protects the image of the white man and women. I'm going to also read something else, which is just, it's something that also definitely causes an impact or impacts other countries. It's just a thought that I even had prior to this, to writing and formatting the one that I just read. And I feel like it's important as well because it's also, I feel like often when we look at travel, and that's something I've spoken to in previous videos as well, there's always so many countries labeled as dangerous or precarious to go to. And I've always wondered, is this narrative once again put forth so, well, we don't invest in those economies, right? We don't elevate those economies. Think about it. I feel like everything once again is so intertwined, it's tied together, it just comes in full circle. So let me read this. This week, while watching a video about Iran, I came across a comment that said, "The journalist is a lot braver than I am." And the journalist seems to me like a Western or someone from the West going there and providing coverage on what's happening in Iran. Well, this comment in particular said, "The journalist is a lot braver than I am," clearly implying that Iran is dangerous. But from my own experience and countless stories from Western travelers, many countries labeled as dangerous by the West are actually some of the most enjoyable places, filled with the kindest and most welcoming people. I can speak from personal experience. When Saudi Arabia opened its borders for tourism, I traveled there and felt completely safe. And it's crazy to me to also recall how a lot of my colleagues during that time were so scared. They were just so scared about the fact that I was going to Saudi Arabia, it's sad because once again, perpetuating these ideas that then cause people to, and that includes everyone, including people of color, to then question those very people, which are also people that look like us. The people so opened its borders. I traveled there and felt completely safe. The people were incredibly hospitable and humble, qualities I deeply value when traveling. Saudi Arabia quickly became one of my favorite countries, and it is one of my favorite countries I've traveled to thus far. It's upsetting how the West often perceives these countries as dangerous, and this is for many countries, right? And we see that now with Iran as well. Naturally, they're going through their own situation, but prior to this current situation, I feel like much of the West has always portrayed very many countries, and they just so happen to be predominantly Black and brown, filled with individuals that are Black and brown. Why is that, right? Why is that dangerous? Simply because of differences in culture, religion, or to be frank, because these countries don't prioritize close alliance with the West. Let's be real, the West has taken so much, and in this case, speaking for that region, especially oil, and that's a major reason for ongoing instability in the MENA region, MENA, Middle East, and North Africa. This perception not only harms the reputation of these countries, but also negatively impacts their economies, since tourism is a vital industry for many. So I want to say that much. And yes, let's continue to think, let's continue to question the many things and the many narratives that are put out there and told to us, right? So yeah, stay safe. Take care, everyone.